Hey there, Leo. This is Joy here to take an intuitive peek into the energies going on around you. And what energies are those? You're flipping the script. You're like, I'm going to pick a different thing. And so you picked from the Wisdom Oracle by the book. And as you can see up here, it's 11. You're wanting some clarity, some psychic, talking about some inhibitions taken off. And so you have a bit of a subject matter that we're going to look through, but you're really wanting to dig and prod at Bone Collector, who's kind of like female Saturnian energy, male or female, it doesn't matter, whichever for you. But this is a complementary energy to Big Papa, and Big Papa's here wanting to really talk a bit about your Mercury. So not just your communication, the words that come out of your mouth, Leo, but the authenticity with which you live, the altruism, like doing away with hypocrisy, being in true union with yourself, on the same page with yourself, and buying what you're selling. I think it's a little bit of that, okay? So underneath Bone Collector, we'll get to those other things later on, though, because we have the headers up, is what I have up. So this is what we're finding out about by the book, because it's like you're needing to know some things. When I was shuffling and getting everything ready, Judgment came up in more than one deck that I had working here, and was wanting to know about abundance and all these other different things, but judgment. And so I love that two Saturnian energies are here to help provide that clarity and the point of view to bring it on in. Some of you, we are the whole zodiac. You may want to go back and listen to Cancer, because it was talking about the Emperor. Ooh, y'all, it's late. I tried to crank these out. I left the campground recording a few of these so I can go back and finish camping. So I'll tell you with that, if you're showing up calendarically, that means in time with the calendar of when this is released. Otherwise, they're always timeless. But right now, calendarically, there's a meteor shower going on in Leo called the Leonids. And I got to see some shooting stars there last night. But under Bone Collector, y'all, you talking about some mind fuggery going on. You like, what the fug is going on here? And it's about like a pot of boiling water. Like climbing on in and bringing an end to that old friend, okay? It could be a way of thinking. It could be a habit. It could be the way your connection operated with somebody, different things like that. But it's not favorable. And they're talking about things really changing by the time Capricorn season rolls around, or check your sign of Capricorn, that wedge of the pie of your zodiac chart, and see what planets you have going on in there. Even if you have nothing going on in there, that is still a placeholder. It's a place of divinement. So what you doing here? Okay, 4 of Cups. It's how about clearing your field of vision? I know it's quite interesting, but this one's forcing itself to talk when there are two things that got flung with that shuffling. So let's clear your vision. So either we're clearing it to see what's here. Let's just get on into it. 9 of Coins and 9 of Swords. It's like you're talking about options. Clearing your field of vision. Clearing your field of vision. So this is a bit of having to do, you're going to hear me say it again, clearing your field of vision. Windshield wipers, okay? Your windshield isn't broken. There's not something wrong with it. It's dirty, okay? The rain is coming down. It's clouding your vision. They're trying to get that out of the way so that you can see clearly. It's interesting because it's like this 9 of Swords is showing up in that, like if this is in front of you, kind of a scrutinous eye, I'm kind of like trying to offer yourself the advantage, like I said, of having that inside out congruency, that wholeness of oneself, not just showing facets of yourself as to what best suits each situation, but walking in your wholeness. Because this isn't about everything coming out of your mouth with Mercury. It has to do with your presence. All right. Being whole in your presence. So that's kind of, if this is the cart, if your chart or cart is ahead of the horse, they want the horse in front, your power, your strength, the being of who you are. And allow your clarity to love and to support you. So this begins to open up new fields of vision, kind of like getting on with the periphery, getting on into speaking engagements, that type of thing. Being heard also. Not just being a good listener and a good communicator in that way, but also being heard as well. Being received, all right? So bone collector's got that going on. Now, some of this, let's say that to you as well, that you receive your messages coming through here. Again, I'm not giving you advice. I'm just showing you what's going on around you so that it provides resonance, clarity, pertinence, relevance to you, okay? Because you're the one walking your journey and know what's going on in there. So this will begin to ring a bell, or else it'll stir certain things up. Listen to yourself, okay? So we're going to get into this in just a minute. But for now, what we need to know, and by the book, is like you're wanting to explain some things. And I'm telling you, what they want you to know here, this is Cosmic Tarot's coming in to clarify the theme card, which in your case, you flipped the script and made it by the book. Well, here, what's by the book is the moon appears to have phases. Does it energetically impact us? Yes. Okay. But once we become aware of its influence and how we operate with it, we're no longer the variable being played like a puppet. Not saying the moon is. It's like we're behind the times, but you're wanting us to get on stage at the proper time, by the book, flipping the script, being able to navigate and create as you go. So what you want me to talk about here is the wholeness of the mind, the full 3 layers, okay? Because we have our frontal lobe, or the conscious, the subconscious, and the unconscious. And we've begun to categorize and divide things off because of simple things like spoken word and recorded language and things like that, influences around us. But life is wanting to bring us back into the state of plasma, where we see with a whole mind, where the thing of the depths is relevant and pertinent to what's going on around us. You know, kind of like Ariel, knowing where you belong and having the transformation to go along with it, okay? So the moon serves as that symbol of transformation, of ever progressing, that is visible and outward, when inwardly it's the power to be whole. You're talking about speaking with tongues, speaking in tongues, fiery tongues, all that. I'm just leaving it there for whoever you need to hear that, okay? Yes, there is power in it, and yes, I do it. It's one of the first things Spirit progressed me into. So if you need to know, you're welcome to ask me about that. But this is what is clarifying the moon, the sun. Because what we're seeing here, when the sun looks in the mirror, it looks like the moon. Okay, so they're talking about needing to be able to see yourself clearly. Remember, don't put this in front of you. That means don't lean and rely on this and that type of thing. Because you ever lean on a sword? You ever squeeze a sword? When you get a hold of that blade, it hurts. They're talking about get a hold of yourself. Get a hold of yourself and let this clarity come along and support you. Kind of like hindsight, but not like bad decision, hindsight 2020. No, this building that's been going on through the layers of time, right? Through this layer of experience of knowing the phases and the transitions and the things going on. But the sun shines the same every day. This is knowing yourself from the beginning of time, okay? And seeing yourself through that royalty, that regalness, that window. And they're talking about the windows of opportunity. Well, we're going to finish this channel straight up by the book to get into those. Okay, so you're coming to you also. Interesting. So here you're It's a Wonderful Life. If you haven't seen it, take a look at that movie, Christmas movie. Watch it any day, whatever. But you're talking about in dance by the light of the moon. I see. You've been trying to look at things like a human. They're talking about the spiritual connection here. Through the lens of your heart. Because here, if you look in the reflection, it looks like clouds are creeping in. Like there's ominous energy coming, storm coming, that type of thing. All right. And it's almost as if you called it in. But in the truth, when you look at this directly, like when I turn and I face it, I see that they're moving on out, that they've already passed by, and that you're welcoming and bidding the new life to come. Okay? So I'll just tell you that from what I'm able to see when I'm looking at this. And this is what was going on. That was behind and upside down. So now we have the Emperor showing up with temperance. And temperance to me, y'all, isn't just patience. That's a conundrum. We're like, oh, I need patience to be patient. Well, sure. But if you understood patience really has to do with process, that there's a reason associated with it that brings about these layers of the wisdom and of the learning. Where is the wisdom? The wisdom and the learning coming on in here. It has to do with like what temperature to set your oven to when you're baking muffins. How long the muffins stay in. Because if you made the effort to mix them, whether you mix them from a mix or from scratch, you wanted some muffins up on your head, in your mouth, in your face. You want the fullness of life, Leo. Well, that's what Temperance is talking about here. It's just the process. The sun doesn't disappear just because you can't see. It's behind a cloud for a minute, okay? There's nothing obscuring you or separating you from what it is that you desire. Just their patience with the process. Because look, this emperor, I love it because it is cosmic tarot, celestial emperor. It's like all the cosmos, all of the wealth, all the receptivity, all the positioning in your hands. It's like graduating from life university and now you are universal, okay? Get into your 4 angles for some of you. Check your chart, your MC, your IC, your ASC, and your DSC. That's ascending, descending, midheaven, and then your Cola, which is also your North Star. It will guide you home. And that's why I said don't fret. My North Star is Pisces, and Pisces is an empty house. Does it mean I have nothing there? No. Okay. I've got the North Star there, and it says anytime you feel like you're losing your way, return to that. Pisces has been ruled by, modern day it seems to be known to be ruled by Neptune, but there's also lore of it having been ruled by Jupiter as well. So a lot of power going on in there. Again, a nod for some of you to go back and listen to the Cancerian reading. So here, we're just going to go through the layers then, okay? We're going to go from top down and see what we actually have here. So the first card is Gratitude 23. You're showing up, you're wanting to know in this about by the book about ancestors, either people who've passed on. Some of you want to know about mediumship, which is supposedly talking to the dead. You know, it's really just being able to converse between things that aren't in bodies or are between worlds or speak different languages or say you're an interpreter, but you're wanting some of this guidance in connection with your past, with the wisdom that has gone before you, whether that's birth relatives that you had in your family blood lineage, or whether it's spiritual connection that you seek and desire, but you want it to be practical, pragmatic, touchable, real, life-changing, game-changing. So that's what you're inviting in here by the book. You're wanting to know about how to connect to assistance, and not just like at your beck and call. It's definitely not saying it's like that, like you're trying to get them to go do this and that or whatever. The first thing you seek is to understand how to utilize that connection. What is the longing for it? What is the importance of it? What is the relevance of it? You know, how does it apply? How does it look and play out? Is a bit of what you want to know. So then we have 18, pleasure coming on. And this has to do about the individuation, your connection from yourself to yourself through daily life, through connections that you have, through, it could be anything from charities to businesses to faith that you may attend, or friendships, or quote, sort of friends, or whatever it is. But this is really the way that you touch life in order to see yourself more clearly. Now, mind you, you've seen quite a bit. Remember, some of those things are phasing and transitioning out or changing shape. So yes, there will be some of that going on, but as you can see, this isn't being self-absorbed. This is being in the center of yourself. This is in the experience that then you begin to rise up and marry and meld within. So then the final card that's showing up here is 36, patience. Yes, there's purpose in all of this waiting, all this suffering, all this grief, all this pain. Some of it is like you might feel a state of joy, but having to wait for it has been kind of agonizing going on here, but you still hold on to hope. You're still holding on to that faith going in, and they're really wanting to exchange it for your truth, really allowing your divinity and your destiny to come together in your truth, in your Mercury, in yourself. Check out and see if Mercury is close to any other planet in your chart, because if Mercury is within 2 or 3 or 4 degrees, which would be like 2 of the little black lines on the outside of the circle that you're looking at, then that planet becomes doubled. Like in my case, my Mercury is right there by the sun, and therefore I show up as a double sun. Double sun, first house, which means just lots of self-assurance, self-awareness, knowingness, confidence. It can seem like that sort of thing. Whatever. But so that bit of patience is wanting it to all come together into the fruition, into the here. Yes, it's open, it's ready, it's waiting. But they're waiting for, it's like those energies are talking to each other. Hello. That's the spiritual language. When they're talking about speaking in tongues, speaking in spirit. Okay. If you don't want to hear about this, you can click off, you can fast forward, you can whatever. But when your card wants to know, is it really possible for me to connect and it to become real here on earth as it is in heaven? I feel it. I want to experience it. And you're holding the balloon of faith and hope. Okay. That's what they're talking about. This truth, they need to speak the same language. And that's what you're telling me speaking in tongues is. It's this lifting up, this rising up, that it does away with the separation in layers. It does away with our body has 3 planes and actually 4 because it has the astral plane as well. Just like our mind has 3 layers this direction. It has 2 halves this way. We're removing all of that, all the communication barriers so that you are limitless. And that's what happens when you... It's called praying in tongues. Some call it speaking your light language. Am I opposed to any of that? No, y'all. I just know that some things carry with it a weight or a stigma. But the point is it begins to map into grid and to line up everything. It lines up not just latitude and longitude, which wrap and engulf the earth and are experienced within kind of, I don't know, within our atmosphere. We'll just say at least that much, okay? Say you're an airline pilot. Within our atmosphere, but then we also have the effect of gravity. We also have the effect of that reflectivity, that full-on connection. It's bringing in otherworldliness. So praying in tongues, all right? That's just a term for it, or speaking your light language. It's being able to imagine yourself in a place all by yourself. Because some people, there's a nervousness about it. So even if you're in your home by yourself or in your car by yourself, you feel weird or like something's wrong. Well, that's the scrutinous eye. When the people talk about an evil eye, that's an evil eye on yourself. Don't be rude to yourself. Remember, this devil was on up here talking about it was blocking your vision, that we're needing to clear your vision. Well, they're talking about we're needing to clear that division, the separation, which is only presumed. Okay, so they're talking about speaking in tongues, speaking the light language. All right. So anyways, when you begin to feel weird or awkward, if that happens at all, then you just confirm yourself. No. This is me to me. We're going to sit here and we're going to open our mouths and we're going to speak. I'm not telling you to do this. I'm just saying if you want to know or have any point of reference, that's what I'm letting you know about. And then if you're someone who's been privileged to be around a baby when they quote babble, actually they're speaking it. They're fully communicating. Watch their face. Watch their expressions. Watch their thoughtfulness. So that's kind of what it is. Just start babbling. Just start babbling. And you know, when I do, I close my eyes sometimes, and not because I don't need to see, but it's almost like tuning an instrument into the center of it and then just beginning to let it flow. And I tune in because I can actually translate and hear what's being said. All right. Now I'll go ahead and tell you, I hadn't used it as much as I was supposed to. Setting up booby traps for myself. You know, why should we want to live life disconnected and have it be hard, have it be earned, have it be deserved twice? I mean, that's the unique thing about Bone Collector being here, is we assimilate ourselves, okay? We assimilate our charts. It's kind of like we bought them, and it's not bought like you need enough money to have this type of life. No, it really had to do with the preparation of being able to walk into this. And thinking, okay, here's, you've assessed it, and here's how you plan on moving through it. It's more like that, okay? But when to come into the truth and the wholeness and the fullness of who you are. I say go for it. There ain't no shame in that. That's the magic, the connection. And if praying in tongues, speaking your light language is that thing for you, then go for it. Go for it. A mere few moments to be able to speak and understand all at the same time is pretty powerful stuff. But why I haven't used it much, I don't know. Okay. We need that clear connection. So maybe this is encouragement to me as well. And that's why I appreciate you guys. This channel's for all of us, all of our joy made full. So King of Swords, talking about, oh, you'd be swimming in the deep. So there was this scripture, it talked about the waters rising in the earth. And this isn't like for flooding. This is like anointing. This is like that connection, the presence, the truth. Imagine, so miracle is a work of power. It's the presence of power. Okay, for some of you, again, go back and listen to Cancer. It's talking about laser focus and that power coming on in. So with the King of Swords, when the King of Swords split the deck, you told me to work from that part of the deck. Okay, so King of Swords, that power coming on in, this miracle power coming on in, reuniting the plan of the hearts. Okay, 4 Cups and six of Pentacles. Some of you it's change your batteries, and some of you it's recharge your batteries. Okay, recharge your batteries. So this is showing up like batteries in a hearing aid, and your ears and the kidneys are related. They're formed at the same time in the body. These are the ones that we hear with. Our kidneys are the one that we speak with. When they say your reputation precedes you, that's what we're talking about here in this patience, this process, this connection. Interesting. And so this is that divine communication. It's kind of like what goes on. And some of you may want to keep your lips quiet and meditate. But there is something here about speaking that language, okay? And that's the only reason I brought it up. But you may be super in tune to being able to meditate, to visualize, to imagine that type of thing. And this is what you're choosing. You see, I've got my mind, body, and soul right here before me, but I seek my fulfillment. And so this is the high heart, the pink. It's more like, oh, let's see. Can you see that? The little nudge? That's the part of the heart here. That is more like our divine or our spiritual connection, like what is going on, the goldenness self, not just the moon. This is the goldenness self, seeing yourself fully and clearly, and being honest with yourself about what it is you desire here on earth. That's what's coming on through. So that's what the pink ray is over the green heart, the earthen heart, but the two coming together. It's very much what children have. It's a form of innocence, of complete trust, of the fullness of surrender without even having to acknowledge surrender, because you wake up with this eagerness, this liveliness every day. And that gets us here, remember? With the child. And this is like our chart when we get in the center of it, the fullness of the radiance, easy to behold. All right, we're going to leave it there. Step on into it, Leo. I hope that helped flash out some of the energy around you, that you could take a look and see what's resonating inside of you, and to know that you're beautiful and divine. Some of you check out that Cancer, but you can also check them all out. We are the whole zodiac. And if you're showing up right now in November, you might go out and check for the meteor shower that's going on in Leo constellation. All right, I love you. Talk soon. Bye.